Getting back to the Yoga Sutras, Sutra number 16. Now he had discussed practice and he began the discussion on Vairagya, detachment. So this is the next sutra regarding detachment. Tat param purusha khyater gun vaitrishyam. Translation: the ultimate detachment is when, through knowledge of the self, one ceases to desire all pleasures within the three gunas. So, how does one become attached? By contemplating happiness somewhere. It doesn't happen by itself. We discussed dhyayato vishayan pumsa. If you wish to detach yourself, let us say, for example, you got attached to too much of sugar. Now you wish to detach yourself. What is the process? You will have to do reverse contemplation. This thing is harmful to me, this thing is harmful to me, this will hurt me, this will hurt me. So by reverse practice, you will weaken the detachment, the attachment, and transform it into detachment. Now he builds on that and he says that a higher level of detachment is when you just understand your self-nature. I am the soul. I am a divine being. As the saying goes, we are not material personalities having spiritual experience. We are spiritual personalities having a material experience. So my soul is divine. And the material pleasures will not satiate my soul. Just like a fish loves the water. You take the fish out of the water and try and make it happy. My dear fish, I'll massage you in perfumed oils. I'll keep you next to the AC, heater, cooler, whatever you want. I'll open your mouth and give you the Indian chai to drink. Will you be happy? Now the fish cannot speak. If it could, it would say, "Thank you, sir. If you want to make me happy, put me back in the water." Likewise, our soul, we are trying to give it happiness. If I go for a vacation to Las Vegas, I will be so happy. Now you went for the vacation and came back and you are more unhappy than before. You need another vacation to wash off the first vacation. Does it give lasting bliss? You made so many desires for worldly things. They were fulfilled. Did the soul say, "I am satiated forever"? When you were in school, you thought, if only I can pass my high school and get a good admission, I'll be happy. And you got that, then you said, if I can get a job, I'll be happy. And then you said, if I can get a job in Silicon Valley, I'll be happy. And then you said, no, I'm just writing code. If I can be a little higher level, I'll be happy. And all this went on. But the soul from within said, I'm still not happy. So Maharishi Patanjali says, when that realization dawns, that no material pleasures will satiate the yearning of the soul for divine joy, an inner joy, that will lead to a deeper detachment. So we'll be going quickly. Next one. Vitark, Vichar, Anand, Asmita, Rupanugamat, Sampragyatah. Translation: practice and detachment may reach 4 stages: examination and analysis, discrimination, joyful peace, and intellectually guided absorption. So, Maharshi Patanjali, with razor sharp focus, keeps on pulling the topic further. He said, you do abhyas and vairagya. Now he says, look, mastery will come slowly. It will always be a journey. You will be taken through these 4 stages. The first is intellectual analysis. Too much of sugar is hurting me. And the second will be repeated contemplation of this thought. Why should I not keep my body healthy by eating good food instead of junk food? That is a more sensible, I need to do this, I should not hurt my body with what I put in my mouth. So the first will be vitark, the second will be vichar. And the consequence of vichar will be, those material desires will diminish. The same desires you were making for happiness, they will diminish. And then you will find the inner joy coming. Astonishing. Because you were searching for happiness in the wrong place. So when those desires reduce, the mind, you'll be able to hold it still. And joy is inside of you. It's like the musk deer, the kasturi deer. It's got such intoxicating aroma that the whole forest becomes aromatic. And the deer itself yearns, where is this aroma coming from? It runs here and there. It doesn't realize the kasturi is inside. So likewise we are searching. Saint Kabir says, Pani bich meen piyasi mohi suni suni avata hasi. The fish is thirsty in the water. How astonishing. The ocean of happiness is inside us. Ananda sindhu madhya tavavasa. Binu jane kat marasi piyasa. And we are searching for it on the outside. So this reduction of worldly desires will result in joy. He's saying now the positive experience of joy will come. And the fourth, he says very interesting. Sampragyat samadhi. Sampragyat samadhi. So these are technical terms. If you have dabbled in spirituality, you must have come across sampragyat samadhi and asampragyat samadhi. 2 kinds of samadhi. Sampragyat means with the help of your intellect, you will be controlling the mind. Like a student controls the mind in the examination hall. All the year long, the student is unable to control. Parents say, Swamiji, tell something to my child. What should I tell him? He doesn't study. He is your child, you tell him. He doesn't listen to me, Swamiji. Are beta, why don't you study? Uncle, my mind doesn't like to study. Now, it's a genuine problem. The mind doesn't like to study. But the same child goes in the examination hall to final year. And there for 2 hours, the child holds the mind in focus. Now nothing distracts. Not looking out of the window. Use your complete faculties to the best with razor sharp focus to give the best possible answer. Think, 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 think. Now, how did the child develop the ability? He is doing sampragyat examination, which means using the intellect to control the mind. When the intellect decides this is important, he's held the mind in check. That kind, if focus had been maintained through the year, the child would have become a national level merit scholar. So through the year, the intellect was refusing to hold the mind in check. Why? It was not convinced. Mummy, Papa think that studies is important. I don't think so. They don't know what they're talking about. So when the intellect was not convinced, even when he tries to put the mind there, the intellect says, "Arey, come back. Video games will give you more pleasure." So basically, human beings are endowed with the ability to control the mind with the intellect, if they so wish. You all can do it. If a 4-year-old child can do it, a 5-year-old child, if we are all doing it in the office? People don't like to work. Arey Baba, ye Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, so difficult, so much of strain. What to do? I have to earn. So they work whether they like it or they don't. They work out there. How many people actually enjoy their work? Very few. That is why you have got TGI Fridays, right? First time I came to USA, I saw an eatery, TGI Fridays. Then I saw another TGI Fridays. Then a third one in an airport. I asked somebody, why should anybody give a name TGI Fridays? He said, Swamiji, it means thank God it's Friday. So why should you thank God? Because 5 days people are in hell. They don't like to work, but still they are working. How are they working? Sampragyat. The intellect is controlling the mind. You better work, otherwise you lose your job. Right? So now here, the intellect has been illumined with divine knowledge. And with that, the mind is being held in check. That your self-interest of the soul is not to run after sensual things, but to contemplate the higher truths. It is still not a natural state of the mind. So it is called the lower Samadhi, Sampragyat. Now the next one. Viram, Pratyaya, Abhyas, Purva Sanskara, Sheshonya. The other Samadhi, which is asampragyat, is preceded by the practice and experience of the cessation of all material thoughts, which remain only as latent impressions. So he says, when you keep on practicing, you will reach the next samadhi, which is asampragyat. Now the intellect is not required. So the mind has achieved the stability. See, what happens is that first you are striving to take the mind. You put the mind there and it comes back. Like we were doing Kirtan. Hey Govind, hey Gopal. So people were all clapping. Naturally they were taking the mind there. But the mind was coming off. This is called sadhan bhakti. Then you keep on practicing, the next stage is reached. Bhav bhakti, where it naturally goes there to God. You don't need to hold it there, it's naturally going there. This is a consequence of practice. What happens when you reach that state? Kshanti. There is a reason to be disturbed, and yet you are at peace. Avyartha kalatvam. You are so mindful of the value of time, you don't wish to waste a moment. Virakti, naturally detached. Manashunyata, no desire for praise, for self-respect. It's all right, that pride has finished. So the symptoms of the heart getting cleansed start manifesting when the mind is that detached. But the goal is not yet reached. So in that stage, he says that some impressions remain. But these impressions are latent, like a seed. Now let us say that your weakness was for rasgullas, right? And let's assume. And you just could not resist rasgullas. And the doctor said, look, if you want to live a healthy life henceforth, you will need to break this habit. Say, okay, I'll not eat rasgullas. But the memory of the rasgulla torments you. It's so much of pleasure. Even if there is no rasgulla in front, your mind remembers the rasgulla, it does the roop dhyan of the rasgulla. And the memory evokes the desires. Now neurology tells you the dopamine cycle, right? So the memory reminds you, I got so much of happiness from rasgullas, and the desire is created. So he says, now in that state, what is happening? The memory is there, rasgulla, but it doesn't trouble you. It's like a seed that has been cooked. You cook the seeds and plant them. They will not germinate. That life force has been killed. Likewise, now those latent impressions will not trouble. That stage has been reached. So now it's easy to hold the mind, even without active use of the intellect. This is asampragyat. But very interesting, a few more. I wanted to quickly look at this one. 19. Bhava pratyaya videha prakriti layanam. Translation: some who have attained higher levels, videhas, or know unmanifest nature, prakriti layas, are drawn into birth in this world by their remaining impressions of ignorance, and more naturally come to these states of samadhi. Now, what does this mean? It means that some people who followed this practice in past life and had achieved a reasonable state, they had become videhas or just prakriti layas, but they did not complete the process. So they had to come back in the world. Now, in this life, they make rapid progress. So when you look at them, you'll say, "Arey, this guy came to the satsang same time as me. And he is like shedding tears and he is making such rapid progress. And I have been doing Radhe Radhe for 3 years, and why am I not progressing?" It was his past earnings that is bearing fruit. So the past earnings, we all come with a bank balance and we build on it. This was the question that Arjuna asked Sri Krishna. Sri Krishna said, "Practice yoga." Arjuna said, "Maharaj, supposing I practice and don't complete the process, because it's a difficult process, and I don't complete it in this life, then what will happen? I left the worldly pleasures to go after God. And if I don't get God, then I'll be neither here nor there. न खुदा ही मिले, न बिसाले सनम, न इधर के रहे, न उधर के रहे." Sri Krishna says, "Arjun, don't worry. God is perfectly rational and just. He will note your efforts. And in your next life, He will give you such a birth, in such a family, in such a situation where you will have the opportunity for access to this knowledge from childhood and the facility to practice it, so that you will then start off from there and continue. Shuchinam Srimatangehe Yoga Bhrashto Bhijayate." So Sri Krishna said that, he is saying this out here, Maharshi Patanjali. Let us see the next one. 20. See, look at the speed at which he goes. Shraddha, Virya, Smriti Samadhi, Pragya Purvak, Itaresham. For others, practice must be pursued with faith, valor, keen memory, absorption, and intelligence. So he says, some people, they came with a past earning, they just got it and they kept moving ahead. But if you did not have that kind of balance because of your earnings in past life, not to be discouraged. They got the fruit of their own efforts. You earn right now. So you will have, don't think that your mind will immediately come into focus. You will need to strive with faith, with courage, with inspiration, with memory. Otherwise, all the lessons Swamiji teaches, they will all be forgotten. So use the memory, use your intelligence. Make an educated effort. It's not just hard work, but smart work that is required in the world, in your corporate career, and also in spirituality. And he's teaching us how to do that smart work. So if any of you were a Prakriti Laya, you don't need to attend the rest of the lectures. But if not, then you will need to continue and understand the rest of what he wants to teach us.